Crystal. Someone said your name and I smiled. I mean, cheeks gala apple red with 32 pearls glistening. I mean, my whole body warmed with euphoria at your name. Ever seen someone radiate happy? Did you not look at my face? My smile was so brilliant that the emotions contagious. I smiled because my smile was so brilliant. They smiled because I smiled. The emotions contagious. You made pterodactyls flap their extinct wings in my belly. My heart changes beat to beat and synced, made gregarious me want to tiptoe on point two shows just to be your piece. I sat in awe of your skill. So glad that you saw me and my lack and filled it with your pieces. Was a fortunate winner. Indeed, I smiled when learning what love was. I smiled like someone lifted my face. Skin tight, corner raised, eyes told the truth. When folks mentioned your name, my round cheeks reddened with embarrassment. They had to know, especially since witnessing my entire frame tense at your name. Smiles exchanged to keep me from wailing. Thankfully, it's contagious, but they knew had they had to, even without seeing what transpired between. My belly twinged with warnings every day. My heart raced at the moments we were face to face. I tiptoed around your house and feelings to maintain peace. I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I was so sorry. I sit in awe as your skill had me believe I was sorry, seeing a perceived lack you filled with with insecurity. So don't know how I got so lucky to be your chosen. Smiles feigned while learning what love wasn't. Eggs. I'm gonna take a sip. This is a ride. Eggs. I love eggs, mostly scrambled or boiled, never running. I love eggs, salt, pepper, cheese, a little syrup, or just plain, no ketchup. Made as egg salad or deviled, fried over medium, Benedict frittata. Give me eggs. Mom taught me to cook them, taught me how to buy them, to test them, to spot good ones, bad ones, and said, don't take a floater. Never bring home a floater. And since we aren't named McDonald and this isn't a farm, don't bring any fertilized ones home either. This is a chick-free zone. But I loved eggs, all eggs, store-bought and my own, fresh or fertilized. I got one fertilized, decided right away to dump that egg. It weren't a chick yet, didn't have to become one. Cried when I left it, though mom didn't order it, I didn't want it. Couldn't protect it, didn't cry over the spilt milk, just the egg cracked. But that was what was best. We weren't on a farm, couldn't provide for chickadees. This house was for us hens. And well, I didn't love eggs all that much, not fertilized ones. Those were difficult to stomach. I just like the cooked ones. Right choices were made. And in mom's eyes, I'm still a good egg. I still love a good egg, even a spicy nog. But share cautiously now. Whew, we're coming in. We're landing our plane soon. And thank you for y'all who have your cameras on so I can see y'all and feel like I'm not talking to myself. After admitting to my therapist, I no longer want to be here. I crashed into my mattress like water does a pitcher slosh around my sheets. Thoughts mishandling me, unrelenting waves toss me about. Today, for the entire day, leave me be. Treat me like that pitcher. Place me in on the refrigerator shelf, close the door, dim the lights, and let me settle into myself. So I got two more poems. This one, I just want to, you ever had that hug that changed your life, that changed your whole mood, that healed you and you didn't even know that you needed that type of healing? I had that hug yesterday and I came home and wrote this poem. So ain't nobody heard it come out of my mouth yet. Um, I'm just gonna say it's dedicated to D Black because he gave me that hug yesterday that I didn't know I needed. We went to see a play called, I don't know the full name, but it's Dog God. So do with that what you will. Go see it if you can. There are hugs, all kinds. Stranger hugs, lover hugs, virtual hugs, mom hugs, children hugs, rib cracking hugs, self hugs, friend hugs, ghost hugs, that ones you don't really feel, comforting hugs. And then there's me hugs. I am the hug that changes it all. She'd been struggling all week, regressed that tiny child dreaming of arms enfolding lovingly. Her brain was busy. Opinions, others' opinions spread through her cranium, annoyed at her, disappointed in her, voices that didn't understand. Silence was a defense from the villainous arts. Voices said, "You're protecting him, giving away power, should be speaking up, doxing, dox him." They yelled from dawn to dusk till she grabbed her phone. Tap, 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 tap. SOSing her network, telling the truth of her story, naming the monster. Didn't share all the evils, made clear it wasn't physical, not really. Did state he'd almost raped her that one night, that one July night, somewhere between twilight and bewitching. Body shivering, anger, and anxiety, the culprits. Didn't mention that most encounters were coerced, which is assault in itself. Didn't talk about the manipulation, how he centered himself always during infusion appointments, during injury, during birthdays, her moments about him. Didn't name all the tools of his abuse. She kept the details minimal, explaining her mental distress was because the mad, bad penny kept floating to the surface, healing, a hike in jellies up a steep, ice covered incline. A little progress came with a quick descent. Tired of falling with no safety, she ripped open her scars, hoping to receive support, and some she did, but her nerves were still spiking, and an embrace was nowhere. But today was different. A friend of decades appeared, reached across the row of seats, and greeted her with a hug. Not me. They weren't ready for the divine healing power that is me. This hug was a prelude. She tried pulling away twice. He wouldn't let go. She gave in. "I'll stop when you are ready." Surrendering into the contact. No awkward, just elongated. Then they chatted. "I saw you at the theater." "In Harlem 2 years ago?" "No, last year in Upper West Side." "You were there?" "Yes. And you brought a little shoulder." They giggled, talking poetry, the years that flew by, and then her ex came up, bad pennies doing what they do. He'd been on the tip of her tongue and in the forefront of her brain. "You know that poet? He and I were together. We didn't hide it, but you needed to see us to know our love, to know our love wasn't very social." Well, he's an example of loose stool. Brilliant poet, caustic partner. There's a problem in the community. I hear this too often. The show they were at started again. At its conclusion, they were primed and ready for me. He had to he had time to process what was heard. She had time to escape the thoughts. They stood face to face. Though she slightly shorter than he, his smile inviting as always. Arms positioned themselves ready to cross bodies to bid farewell. There were no seats between. The moment lingering again, she was better prepared and wasn't. Two powerful poets, two friends of 2 decades, two souls, chest to chest. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. And I've known her longer than I've known you. I'm proud of you. I'm sorry for all you've been through." Thank you. Thank you for believing me. And there I was at that moment, in that moment, part of the embrace, the one that soothed the trembling child. I was that hug, the hug that wrapped not only around her body, but evicted the ruminations and held her ego delicately. I was that hug, the hug that comforted and healed what the ex had left shattered. I am that hug that went to work, crafting a moment of ease, transferring energy between two, bringing a smile back to one. I am that hug. I am. So go get y'all that hug if you can find it. And we go full circle because we started with like some amorous stuff. This is not as amorous, but it's a crush. It happened again today. The chill kissed spines and geese flew north. It could be global warming or the forgotten pandemic or the external proof of the crazy within, for it was only my eyes that spied the oddity in the AM sky. This morning feels different, lighter, heavier. Most definitely askew with a dash of anxiety. I text you before you'd awaken. ADHD, a giant internal HD TV, plays the Golden Girls opening credits as I try to compose the perfect communique. I think of my pottery red bedroom walls to soothe. As pigeons swarm overhead, stay focused, lock in. This text will be the most important of the day. I cannot say I love you not in this message. The meaning will get muddled. I need the sentiment to be clear. 5-second breaths. 5 seconds more. Hey, buddy! No, erase that. Too casual. Hey, I know you aren't up yet. I know you've been listening to the insane of my love life, catching tears with your hands and tickling sad senses with feathery phrases. I deserve better, you say. And when I can't remember, I ask you to repeat. Surely you feel like a broken 45 as I mend what others shattered, but I happily ply you with the same. Ears open as you speak of what was once offered that wasn't treasured. Fools sit for faults, missing the true. You are. I'm rambling. My friend. No, my dear, you are a gift. And as my pen stabbed others, it doodled hearts around your name. Yes, I'm messy, confused, complicated, like the flock of geese flying wrong ways, but they do make it to their destination. You might be mine. I just took the long route round. Does this sound crazy to you? You can ignore it if you wish. I'm even unsure of preferred outcomes because I truly am content with the role you've played on this at this chaotic stage. Am I professing, asking for a first date, or just saying, hey? I don't know, but I just thought you should know. But I will say what I always seem to say, thank you. Thank you for being that homie, buddy, love, friend. So thank you, Creative Expressions, for having me. As John mentioned in his introduction, I had a new book that just dropped. It literally just dropped last week. I haven't told everyone because you can get it on Amazon. It's not on my website yet. I'm not selling until after the book launch. The book launch is on June 2nd, and it's at Sisters Uptown. So if you're in New York, come to Sisters Uptown, buy the book there so we can support me, we can support the store. That's how we take care of our community. If not, give me a couple of days after that, and I'll start selling on my website, which is just my name, darakalima.com. But I hope to see you at Sisters Uptown. And I have an Alzheimer's fundraiser going on June 11th as well, because as some of you know, I'm caregiving. I'm also susceptible. So that is a very passionate cause to my heart. So it's free 99. It is a fundraiser. Do what you want with that, but come and watch some dope poets and a DJ do what they do. I'll drop the link in here too. But thank you guys. And I will be around even though my camera will be off, so don't think I'm being rude. I literally am doing 5 things, but I'm listening.
Wow, that was amazing, Dara. Outstanding. So before you go off, what time will you be at Sisters Uptown Bookstore?
Sisters is on June 2nd. It's 6 to 8. The real program starts at 6:30. So just come 6, go buy your book, get down, sit, get comfortable, listen to the musician, and have listen to me read, and listen to the conversation that's going to happen with my friend, the artist Anubis, who is hosting. And again, this is the cover of the book, and I'm very proud of it. All the photos within and on the cover I took. So come check it out. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dara. That was amazing. Um, wow. That first poem, I was like, oh my goodness, where are we going today?
I had a worse one. I swear to you, I had a worse one. And I realized I was running over time. So I pulled out the sequence and just put that one poem for the 3 poems that took you into an even worse place. So y'all lucked out. One day I'm gonna really mess y'all up.
Had to take a cool drink of water after that one. So I guess we'll go on to our open mic. Do we have anybody else in the open mic, Angela?
Yes.
Okay.
Last time I checked, we had Ted Mashansky and Chris Bell. So if there's anybody else who wants to share in the second part of the open mic, um, just put your name in the chat. But Ted, if you're ready, you can go ahead.
Hi. Uh, long time, long time since I've seen some of the faces here, and really enjoying that because we've been through some ups and downs and came around, and we have history. So it's a pleasure seeing you, first of all. I'm really enjoying this. Now, why I've been missing so long, I have no idea. I'm getting kind of old and I don't remember everything perfectly. So, in any case, I have a poem here that I wrote not too long ago and going to read it. It's called In the Darkness. Have you ever awakened in the darkness? It may have been in the middle of the night. Now you are alone. Whether you have someone lying next to you or not, no matter, you are still alone. Perhaps when you were a child, you cried out and your mother came running to hold you close, hug you, comfort you. But childhood is over now, and you are alone. This moment is what all your life has prepared you for. Yes, you are all alone, alone with yourself. But if you are fortunate, you are also with your God. And you needn't be afraid because you have a soul, and within it is stored the sum of yourself. Why do children sleep so well? Their souls are free of guilt. If there is a heaven, your conscience will plead your case. And if there is not, your soul will whisper into the wind the tale of how fine a person you are. Either way, it will reveal how you lifted up the fallen, how you fed the hungry, and how you shared your heart. That is, unless you saved the world with only your eyes and shielded your heart. If one sees life through the heart's lens, there is no such thing as country, color, or creed. If you wake in complete darkness, what then is the value of color? In the darkness, only the touch of love matters. When the flesh has left your bones, what then will survive? The choice is a stone in a meadow, to either be caressed or spat upon, or perhaps even better, perhaps a memory that will warm hearts. Only then will you no longer be alone. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Ted. All right, next up, Chris Bell, and then Tab's poetry.
Thank you. At 16 months, his steps were like my parenting skills, clunky and awkward. I fell on just about every step there was, but eventually I got myself up because I knew he would stumble back from across the room and look to fall on me. At 4 years old, he would scream, "Daddy, higher!" And I would give in, launching him to the point where the chains on the swing became slack and he slightly rose from the sleet. But I wouldn't exhale until he rode the swing safely back down to me. At 7 years old, I waited with him for the school bus. He always made funny faces as he drove off. But at the end of the day, I get a call saying my child was put on a different bus and now he's missing. My soul screeched until I found him walking back home to me. At 14 years old, I dropped him off with $20 and all the life lessons I had about staying out of trouble. I told him there were so many pitfalls that will change your life, and the security guards are going to look at you and your friends differently. But when the mall closed, he came back to my car excited about a big pretzel that he bought for me. At 16 years old, his dress pants and shirt were crisp. He wore my tie but refused to wear his dress shoes. He said sneakers are his style. I did not approve, but I had to remind myself this was his school dance. It was for him and not for me. At 18 years old, I asked him, "Do you need anything? Some money, some food?" He just smiled and said, "Nah, I'm good." And as he walked into his college dorm, I just wanted to hear something, anything that said he still needed me. For 18 years, I've been practicing letting my son go, hoping he'll be good, hoping he will be happy, hoping he will remember everything I've ever told him, hoping he will remember me. But even after 18 years of practice, it's still so hard letting him go. It feels like I'm falling down all over again. And this next stage of life, it scares me. I just want a little bit more time to practice. Practice letting him go. Because maybe then it will feel like he's just growing up and not actually leaving me. Thank you.
I feel you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Next up, we have Tab's poetry. Oh, there. Okay, when you're ready.
Thank you. That poem was amazing. So when I was young, I never thought of picking up a plate without a stove, a school without a father. But it happened. And let me tell you something, mommy, those nights, they come heavy. Some days smear into the next and questions awaken you at 3 o'clock in the morning. Insecurities, they sit beside you at a school play. And you wonder if the new shoes you bought her make up for the empty chair. Make good of yourself. I remember when it was my mother who danced across the auditorium, long slides to her family portrait. I bet she felt empty too. Maybe that's why extravagant, itchy dresses come with so much importance for days of picture. Perhaps that was the substitute for getting the small package and smiling about it. No mother wants this, you know. Soon, rare days of freedom leave you feeling empty. Emotions and emergencies become a shade of a difference. And you can't understand how this panic attacks you. I bet nobody noticed the pot of rice you have not ate in 2 days. To get her, you come lost, hide in the I'm okay. Really, she's gotten so big, right? Wasn't that the plan in co-parenting? To put a child first? All year I collected the questions I'm only there to answer. And some days I no longer fit. Not in my old circle of friends nor tomorrow's dreams. Nobody said the jeans were gonna fit this big. That I would lose myself in the process of becoming someone's mother. And I know I sound selfish, but the truth is, when you're a mom, you give up everything. Help comes scattered across the kitchen table and keeping a strong face. It don't always come easy, but you'll find a way. You collect the spare change hidden in the lost invitations. You put together puzzles on the living room floor. They'll ask you for 5 more minutes, Ma, please. And you give them 10. Smiling doesn't happen sudden, but never give up, 'cause it does. For it's in a child's love that life has true meaning. Poem.
All right, thank you. Very powerful. Two, in an open mic just now, back-to-back poems with different perspectives on parenting. I thought that was interesting. So again, thank you both. I hope to see and hear y'all again.
Yeah, what an amazing open mic. Everyone, thank you for everyone who has read so far. It has been absolutely amazing. So our next featured reader is German-born Bronxite Ron Mark Thompson. Is a writer, performer, producer, technician, event host, visual artist, and occasional poet. His art, short plays, and written works have been published in online and in-print magazines, several Bronx Memoir Project anthologies, The Love Letters to Gaia, a book, and Art Defines, Flip the, Art Defines, Flip the Script Showcase. Ron also facilitated writing groups for 5 years at the New York Public Library, hosts workshops, and currently works at the Bronx Art and Fun Hub, as well as the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Please welcome Bronx Mark Thompson.
Thank you, Creative Expressions New York City. Thank you, John. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Angela, Aaliyah. Shout out also to MTK and Sonia. I appreciate, like from years ago before the pandemic when you used to be open expression in Harlem, so it's, I'm glad that you are still doing your monthly salons and open mics here. I haven't been performing much and writing much the last 2 years. I've been going through some mental and physical health issues, though. I usually don't talk about it that much. Dara knows a little bit, we talk, but in the last few weeks, I've been getting back on my horse to say, thank you, Dara, and I'm getting back to how most of you know me, and I want to continue this. So, it warms my heart seeing so many of you here, Finn, Ed, I'm just, in awe that you're here, Eric, Ted, Ted, it's been so long, we need to hang out again, so beautiful that you're here, Tabitha, and my new friends, Manya, who I met at the New Rican Poets Cafe, both online and in person, it is just amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming here. I'm happy to meet Amber. Creative Expressions was sneaky. They didn't tell me who my co-features were. So when I found out that it was Amber and Dara, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited though, because Dara and I actually met at Open Expression Harlem years ago, and we're not that old, well, I'm old, Dara's not, but that's where we met first, I think that's where I met Angela too, and I knew Heather before that. So it's so glad to be here. We're all circling back, so it's just amazing. So I'm gonna
I'm gonna interrupt you for 2 seconds.
Go.
I think we met at Open Expressions at Amber's feature, actually.
You know what? Amber looks so familiar, and I could not figure out where I know Amber from, though. Oh my God. This is like a circle coming back here. You see, Creative Expressions is sneaky. They did that purposely, though, so thank you.
It was sheer accident.
You're right. Yeah.
The spirit moves.
Spirit, bro. Thank you. That is, oh my goodness, Dara. Thank you for reminding me that is amazing, though. Anyway, so I'm gonna read 5 of my original poems. It's a mix of old and new ones. Some of them here you may have heard here at Creative Expressions, except for 2 of them that I know I have not brought here yet. And mine, in the spirit of Mother's Day, mine are not about my mother or grandmother, but they are about Mother Nature. So the first one I'm going to read you is from this book, Love Letters to Gaia. I know Gaia was mentioned I think Finn mentioned it in one of her poems. And that one is from 4 years ago, back when we were only in Zoom during the pandemic and we were kind of yearning for nature. So this is what I wrote back then. And the title is Remember Nature. I remember the colorful sights of tulips in the spring. I remember the pleasant smell of lilies and roses. I remember the sounds of the birds in the sky. I remember the innocence, the purity, the clarity. I remember the undisturbed swaths of land. I remember fishes swimming up and down the streams. I remember when we took advantage of all that beauty. I remember when we didn't appreciate the gifts Mother Nature gave us. I remember the plastic and trash we littered all over her terrain. I remember the soaring heat we caused. I remember the rising waters, the hurricanes unleashed upon us. I also remember the virus traveling to all corners of the world. And I then remember when our attitudes changed, when we were stuck indoors, when the pandemic changed our lives. I remember when we suddenly longed for walks in the park. I remember when we wanted to breathe fresh air again. I remember when we wanted to sit on the grass instead in front of Zoom. I remember when we started respecting our earth anew. I remember when we remembered that we only have one planet to live on. I remember when we finally remembered that Mother Nature should never be taken for granted again. And that's that poem. I haven't read that like for over a year, but it's interesting like to read your own lines that like I wrote this back then, it's like, so thank you. All right, continuing with Mother Nature, I'm going to read something that I wrote a little less than a year ago. Besides being an occasional poet and memoir writer and stage play, producer and writer, I do work at some jobs to, bring in the money and pay the bills. I work at a law school and at the New York Poets Cafe. And shameless plug, this is just, it comes, on Tuesday, June 2nd, this is when Dara has her book launch at Sisters Uptown Bookstore in Upper Manhattan. If you then have the time on the following day, Wednesday, June 3rd, Tabitha, Tab's Poetry, will be the feature at the Women Orator Wednesday open mic. Wow. So come to both events if you can make it. But the reason I bring up the New York Poets Cafe, because once a year we memorialize the Hurricane Maria that came that destroyed the island a decade ago. And last fall, when we had the memorial poetry reading at in Lower Manhattan, I wrote this poem here. It's funny. I made a note to myself. I'm gonna update that. I just stuck it out, earlier today. I haven't updated since I wrote it a little less than a year ago. So here it goes. And when I refer to the island, I mean Puerto Rico. But it could apply to almost every island, as, hurricanes, don't discriminate, unfortunately. So here we go. I wonder, why do hurricanes always look for beautiful islands to make landfalls and cause destruction? Why don't hurricanes seek out the frozen Siberia or Arctic up north? Or do I dare? Why don't storms visit Greenland? And if it's too cold for them up there, why don't hurricanes instead race towards Wall Street or the White House? I mean, those are the reasons for our failed climate politics and for causing the hurricanes in the first place. Why do hurricanes seem to be always attracted to beaches, lush forest, farms? Why do they like to destroy all the things we hold so dear to us for our roots and families? Why do they hurl toward communities which already struggle to support their day-to-days? Maybe hurricanes serve as a reminder for us to protect what we hold dear, to protect what belongs to us, and to fight off all those colonizers who keep trying to take away our land. Maybe hurricanes keep coming back so we can show our resilience, renew our communities, to fight against those who want our land for their profit but don't give back. To fight those that exploit the island's beauty but fail to respect and protect that beauty. So that no matter how many paper towels they throw at us, we can show them that the island belongs to us. Maybe hurricanes are nature's way of reminding us and them that all of that. Dear nature and dear hurricanes, challenge accepted. And this is this poem, still a draft, haven't updated it since then, but I hope you get the sentiment. And on a similar sentiment about Mother Nature and hurricanes and everything, about a month ago, I wrote this for Earth Month and read it at another outdoor open mic in Battery Park City here in New York City. And here we go. What if we dropped flowers and roses on people of Iran? Instead of dropping bombs and destroying hospitals and schools in the name of war. Flowers in every imaginable color instead of the gray, sinister look of bombs. What if we dropped flyers with information to gather the community for free food and resources? Instead of dropping leaflets to the people in Gaza, informing them to shelter in place to survive the next attack. What if we asked politicians to come to an open mic or poetry slam for a friendly F the scores competition, instead of inviting the public to watch a debate where each candidate battles and yells at each other, and afterwards we're still left confused about who shall we vote for? What if we took the bus and train to get to work, instead of suffocating the earth with our cars' gases? Granted, what if politicians actually put more buses on the road and made them free, so more of us were enticed to commute on them? What if we said, "Good morning, you look great, enjoy this beautiful day," instead of commenting on a social media post telling the poster, "You suck, your opinion is wrong"? What if I simply stopped dreaming, knowing that it may be too late to save us all, knowing that we're beyond the point of where we can be nice to each other, or beyond any hope to return planet Earth to before we polluted and destroyed it all the way? Maybe I will find comfort that Mother Nature will always win. I will find solace knowing that once we suffocated from our exhaust and verbal and physical attacks, once we made our planet uninhabitable, once we canceled each other out and we are all gone, I have a feeling that our planet will continue to go on even after humanity is gone. It may take another 1,000,000 years to recover and undo all the damage we caused it. It will kind of reboot itself. And then if the planet dares to may try to create and evolve a new batch of humans, let's call it humanity version 2.0, maybe that version will learn to respect each other and Mother Nature once and for all. And that's that poem. All right, 2 more poems, 1 more shameless plug. Creative Expressions will be in person next month, June 14th, the second Sunday in June, at the Bronx Art Factory. Great space in the Bronx. If you haven't there yet, come and be there. I will be there. I know Tabitha will try to get there too, Heather, John. So come and make it, support Creative Expressions, because where else can you get free open mics, so that, we really appreciate you. So I'm going to close with 2 oldies, I call them. I wrote them several years ago during the pandemic, and they are a little bit more cheerful than the past 2 poems that I just read. So this is why I'm closing with this. So the first one is called "Who Put the Sun Up High?" So here we go. Who put the sunshine high up there into the sky, higher than the tallest tree, higher than high, forcing even the grumpiest human to show off a smile? Who put the sun high over the clouds so far into the blue, shining its ray back down to planet Earth each day anew? That star so brightly, giving us strength and energy so true. Who made that yellow ball so hot and fury, so intense? What makes its silhouette so glowingly with no offense, when only nighttime can give you some temporary defense? Who in heaven turns on each morning that light switch? Who only allows clouds and rain to cover, not a glitch? Which power is this, busy each day? Yes, which? Who warms the ground each morning and lifts each and every plant, as if to make them worship, begging for their companionship for the grand? No one can withstand the power of the sun. Sun, trust me, if you try, you can't. Yes, that sun, so high, tickling you until you roll, uplifting your spirit and your soul, until you are happy, until you are whole. That sun gives you energy. It puts you back into control. No vitamin D supplement can do the same. No power the sun provides anyone can claim. Beware of the power who put the sun so high up into the sky. There is nothing any of us can do. Believe no one can defy. And that was an ode to the sun, high up in the sky. Thank you. And I'm going to end with the poem some of you know, just a little cheerful that got me through the pandemic. And this is called Shine On. It's a reminder. Shine on, rider, have courage, shine your light. Pull out your deepest thoughts and don't be afraid to ride. Even if you don't see light in everything you do, keep writing. It will free you. It will make you, you. Don't be afraid to pen down silly or happy or serious lines. Others may not understand, but at least you will be out of your own confines. Spread your love, reveal your hurt, shine your cure as best as you can. Your fearlessness may be the medicine or remedy for another woman or man. Be confident, be smart, be resilient, and keep going. Never ever worry or think of stopping or slowing. Of course, take a rest when needed to recharge and refuel your light. In the meantime, bring out your inner beauty and keep shining bright. Thank you again, everyone. I really, really appreciate to be here. Everyone here inspires me and motivates me to keep going, and even when I come to to everyone's events and I'm just sitting there enjoying, I'm still in awe of all of you. So thank you, Creative Expressions, for pulling me out of my own confines and performing here with everyone else. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are in awe of you, Ron. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful reading. And you touched on a lot of very important stuff. Mother Nature is watching us, for good or for bad. Thank you. So do we have any more in the open mic, Angela?
Let me see. I didn't. Oh, going too far. I didn't see any new folks lately. Let me check again.
Do one.
Okay.
I didn't put my name on the list, if that's okay.
All right,
Okay.
Heather, great.
So I call this poem Warrior Women, and I read it last week at a Mother's Day soiree that my mother and my sister and I went to, and I thought it would be fitting for today as well. Warrior Women. To the unknown women who cocked ears to the wind, who shaded their eyes against the tropic glare to sense from where the storm was rising. To those who sniffed and smelled upon the jumbled scent of sea, that fish was stinking even as they swam. To those who have felt the heat rising to asphalt and feared that hell itself was rising from beneath. To those who sensed within their spirits the coming unrest and trembled even as they arose to scrub the pots and cook, wash their children's clothes and bedding, visit their vegetable patches to water maturing fruit. To those who did not make a placard or march in bright colors against the wrongs, nor even shouted over fences because they were afraid. To those who stayed inside their yards and worked, fed babies on their breasts, or gave bread to other people's children, or passed a bowl of stew to the old man down the alley. To those who quaked in unshod feet, even as their children scanned faces for laughter they did not find. To the women in the neighborhood who peel out hymns of protection Each day they strive, fighting back the very evil that ebbs and flows like waves of thunder. These women, nameless, faces nondescript, quiet in their endurance, did what they could to keep us, to save us, and they have won, even if they go to graves unknown, unsung. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. Let me just give a couple of announcements before we go to Amber. As Ron mentioned, next month we're going to be at the BX Arts Factory. It's a beautiful place, relatively easy to get to here in the Bronx. And while you're there, you get to see some outstanding artwork from Bronx artists, in addition to poetry. I will put in the chat the website for the BX Arts Factory, where you'll see the address. Also, we have a sister organization called Writing at La Finca that is going to be having a tribute to Maria Chisholm, or Chisholm, I'm sorry. That's going to be coming up on Tuesday. And Frida Jones is here. She is the director of Writing at La Finca. If you could just tell people what's going to be coming up.
I hope you guys can hear me. We're being transported from Queens. Maria has been a long-time friend of this community, and her birthday was May 4th. She has published 2 books. We will be celebrating her work online this Tuesday. If you are interested, I will be sending out the link tomorrow.
Thank you, Frida, very much. So our next feature is an amazing poet and artist. Amber Atiya is a women's right advocate, born and raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Her work has been published in African Voices magazine, A Gathering of Tribes, Boston Review, and elsewhere. Her chapbook, The Fierce Bums of Doo-Wop, was published by Argos Books in 2014. Please welcome Amber Atiya.
Hello.
Hello, yeah, thank you.
Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, John and Heather and Angela, um, for keeping this event up and running. I'm actually glad to be doing this today because I have decided, just, after dealing with a lot of different things, um, that I do think that I'm going to step away from, I'm going to take a hiatus from writing. Um, and that's been on my mind for a while. So this is probably the last event that I'm going to do uh, for a very, very long time. So thank you.
Oh no.
So I'll just, I decided, I'm gonna, read some pieces, some old pieces, uh, and I'll just keep going until you guys tell me to shut the hell up, I guess. Uh, so a combination of poems and I guess free writes, poems and free writes. So a lot of you already know that I spent some time in the shelter system and I spent some time in supportive housing. So a lot of the poems and a lot of the free writing that I've been doing or that I've done in the last handful of years has revolved around that experience. So I'll just read I'll start with, some of the pieces that I wrote around that experience. All the lights at the shelter accidentally blow out, and I eat. Women whoop and whistle, bang brushes against walls. The acrobat from dorm 6 who makes poetic leaps in logic, sneaks me bologna and cheese, a carton of 2% for cereal. The ex-boxer with sciatica asks for help with a lidocaine patch. I use phone light, struggle against an obsession with symmetry, a desire to place the patch firmly at the bull's eye of the ass cheek. The Israelite who hasn't held her son in months whispers into the void for a nail clipper, peroxide, cuticle scissors, all contraband. She asks for a few drops of lavender oil. I can sense her outstretched palms. Everyone knows the crazy ones shower without a shower curtain, and Crazy 8 has Dorm 5 in a frenzy, humping her stuffed bears. The attempted murderer gushing about designer colostomy bag covers, press-ons stolen from Dollar Tree. I eat, watch Netflix, wash my spoon in the restroom sink. I eat the moan of two women in a stall behind the stall where staff scooped a fetus from the bowl. I eat the fetus, the soft whir of Candy Girl's nebulizer, the musk of her floral perfume. The only roses on this floor are inked into arms. I dream of trimming their stems, arranging mini floras in vases. We border two boroughs. Neither wants our tattoos or raspy voices fucking up Sam Cooke 3 a.m. No one wants the newlywed bawling into her pillow or asks why she's here and not with her husband. A disembodied voice threatens to throw her out the window if she don't pipe down. The Israelite punching her own face, the chain smoker sets her braids on fire. One of the ebonies waiting on a settlement for a sprained ankle slips in a puddle of piss. I eat her crutch and boot, tagged with the names of homeless women. I eat their dreams of owning hair salons and churro carts, their twilight overdoses and accidental deaths on a loop. Chantel's got no eyes, nose and mouth half as full as mine, head and neck on a nightstand. In another country, a woman with slightly more body than Chantel is placed in a basket and carried to market. I missed half the documentary. She wore a septum ring, bathed in a rusted bucket by elders. No arms, but her teeth were the whitest I've seen. The sky above her village, a cyanotype of clouds. In New York City, a slight limp means carnival music trolling you for the rest of your days. I was destined to be the inverse of a constellation, clever with scars. Imagine in a past life learning to speak English, my body leaked propane. Imagine I steered clear of the sun. Unlike the child born with the trunk of Ganesh, the folk did not walk miles to worship my peeling nape. In this life, what else can an untouchable do but command an army of wigs to defend the virtue of her wounds? Magdalene. A migrant worker hops into a Ford with a stranger. Who calls him a whore with a fatty liver and a slut's grip, binging after blood work, nurse in the atrium slaying Nas at the piano, illmatic in the heart of Mount Sinai. I've killed many men in my mind, always for the same siren, the same paisley-shaped scar at her elbow, a wound I could step into and ascend. Anonymous at a shop where the hint of a lace push-up guarantees a free Dungeness cluster, a doppelganger for mayhem stalking you down the aisles. My cholesterol was low the years I panhandled at the junction, singing the fuck out of Mahalia for dimes, now and then scotch taped dollar bills. I miss holiday gift bags for the homeless, soaps freckled with real gold, deodorant cocktails of vodka and myrrh. My pits stayed hung over. Nights I swayed tipsy among the girls like the last living pantsy, free as the free air at a bike shop. All I ever craved was a vagrant to love, a dumpster fire to lean into, wrapped in a tapestry of Mustangs that fall upon us one by one as we dream. Learning to speak English, you consume a dozen mother tongues and think I should try raw food more often. Eat the red pom-poms of radishes, which are spicy but do not writhe in pain as you bite down, and so you enjoy them less. Dress their heat in something sexy, dark sauce to animate the mouth with salt, the taste of blood, but earthier. One day you'll eat the gulls out the sky, break off their banana beaks, build a souvenir shop. In your mind, they have already vanished into sepia, wingspan, a retrospective of flight. The day Toni Morrison dies, a resident throws hot Joe at a nurse. The bad bitch throws a chair through a window. The pest with cluster B personality disorders throws herself from wheelchair to floor. Elders inspect her bald patch, prophecy tomorrow's lunch. Lasagna you'd mistake for layers of earth. I eat because it's what a mad Piccola might do. In solidarity, I go mad, lose myself for years in bed, sty gardens, lead infused carrots, accused of mercury poisoning by the CDC who care enough to write. A pen pal would be nice, says Jay, reading Sula in the restroom after midnight. In solidarity with decay, I declare myself lesbian, radioactive, even before I've stewed the knotweed of Central Park. My pots, lesbian pots. Sky, a lesbian sky. Here at the half-life of a woman, budding inside a woman, the thirst of a single car nation with scoliosis, swaying like Jack in a box against the backdrop of the overheard tracks in solidarity with the dead, my lids drop like gates of a bodega. I can't make the rent in these ribs, this wheel of hives, a homo anaphylaxis. So I'm not a mother, I'm an auntie. And I would say about, oh gosh, maybe between 10 and 13 years ago, maybe 10 to 15 years ago already, two of my nephews died about 4 years apart. One died from testicular cancer, and the other one died of a bacterial infection. And I remember I had such a hard time. I wanted to write about them so badly, but it just wasn't happening. And so I just had to kind of step away, from it's like if it happens, it happens. If it comes, it comes, but you can't force something like that. But I just remember thinking to myself that, neither one of them, what we hear about Black boys, they were gang members, they were this, they were this, they were fucking that. This wasn't true about either one of them, but they both still ended up dead. Um, I personally feel like their deaths were connected to medical neglect, and I do think that their deaths were also connected to ageism, um, because neither one of them were believed, because they were teenagers. So I did write a handful of pieces about one or both of them. And so I'll read two of those. Arizona is a dream state. A large buck crushed by the grill of a gray pickup. No one notices how the clouds bridle, ache to be given away, adored by a new tribe. Trees suicidal when it heat waves. I hallucinate smoke rising from the heart of pomelo, butterflied ruby, singed blonde of the rind. Know then my nephew has crossed over. Mistake night for the underbelly of a spider, the false borders of animal, of soil, of cactus, of tar. In Brooklyn, the very air's gone vegan, blocks from where my family mourns. Who will hold them in a city where Solus's one good arm swells when it rains? On a bus 2,000 miles from Red Hook, screaming the name of my dead, and before a silent choir of mountains, I unsheet him. The skin south of my collarbone burns. My nephew says King Tut died at 19 like his cousin. And do I suppose they have ciphers on the other side? That Cuzzo is a crump king in the afterlife given dap to gods. Has King Tut confessed that Pharaoh means house, not king? What if this burning turns me into a house, unable to sing since the most a house can do is groan? The boy's hand on my skin, gauging its weather, he could freestyle to my heartbeat if it wasn't muffled by body. Suppose I'm becoming more body, less heart, body dilated as a pupil in the dark, to be already so dark, so bad, a district of Siamese brick. ATM, EBT, is this what the dead miss? Money? Food stamps traded for wooden coins at a farmer's market, coins slipped onto the lids of the mortuary's poor. Could I be morphing into Akin the boatman, or his boat Messiket? Aunt becoming myth of safe passage of nephews into the underworld? Um, Two more? Okay, this is a short one. Midnight, the ceiling, an irregular heartbeat of boys rough housing. The ceiling sings, I'm falling to pieces in pre-pubescent alto. The house quakes with despair. The ceiling begs, mercy, mercy, my nigga, over mortal combat. Jacks, winds, the air Velcro gray with mist. Who sings? An owl-eyed boy, his sadness tumbles over like a basket of green tomatoes. Sweetness and jade, rough housing for supremacy. I'm falling to pieces. Mercy, seated with midnight mist and youth, the scent of tulips before they die. Thank you so much for having me again. This last one is a poem that I wrote quite a while ago, and this is also a short one. Scrapers parody Buddha, appropriate Zen, sway when no one watches, midnight's deep Shiraz, the glittering bra straps of bridges, one I jumped from in a vision, rain-soaked, a gondola abandoned by its maker. I'd rather sorry the sun, gold and sexual as any goddess with Bantu knots. On a brick-throated street, a midday mugging with all the trimmings, switch, blade, and threat. Either your money or your life. Either you are prey or poet. Watching hipsters film a dolphin as it drowns in the Gowanus Canal. Thank you.
Wow, that is amazing, Amber. I hope that your hiatus from poetry won't be for very long. The world needs your voice. Um, being a poet is not an easy thing. It's a hard thing. I admire people who have the courage to do it, and you definitely are doing it, Amber. As is everybody who read today. Thank you so much for being here. Does anybody else like to read from the open mic, Angela?
Yasmin put a short poem in the chat that she wanted me to read. And let's see, also, is Maria still here? Women Warriors? Okay. And Maria had a poem. And I also found one. So I'm going to start with the poem from Yasmin. Okay. It's just Yasmin, it's just those few lines, right? Okay, just check. This is by Yasmin Lancaster, who just featured at our last reading in Queens. Mother's Wit. Oh, I almost lost it. Mother's Wit. My mother taught me not to trust. First lesson, always hover over the toilet bowl. Poem. Okay, so that is from Yasmin. I found a poem. I was looking for a mother figure type of poems, and I found one by Jackie Shelton Green. So I'll read this short piece, and then Maria will read hers. This is called For Grandma by Jackie Shelton Green. I heard your voice this morning, speaking from the foot of the bed. Your quilt crawled to the floor as I lay down in the first whisper of dawn. I heard your voice this morning, the sound of cloth, a casual sound, a Sunday morning. Preparing to visit your Lord. Sound, half your life, half my life, half my daughter's life. We all dream of landscapes, romantic deserts, white sands, connecting us together. A half dozen roses. I play out my life, listening every morning for your voice at the foot of the bed. Okay. And now, Maria, if you're ready.
Okay, thank you. So this is from my third book, The Things That Shape Us. This is called Gray Magic. Time passing, time growing, time receiving, acceptance of what once was and what could be, replacing moments with transient ones because it is easier than to relive the pain. We are gray magic. We carry no labels. We offer wisdom, joy, and life lessons. We are givers and takers. We carry our decades with pride. We have faced the many facets of life, like a diamond shining light in different shades of color. We are not all the same. We choose the many roads put before us. We are picked up by life's storms, whirlwinds carrying us in many directions, and that is good. We carry our time with grace. Our strength of spirit comes from the lives we have lived and continue to live. We are gray magic, no smoke and mirrors here. You.
Hey, thank
I
you.
was only going to read one.
We have time for another one if you like, Maria.
Do I'll do what's really short though, but
Oh,
because it's already 6:56.
okay.
I'm up, I'm obsessed with the clock. Okay, so this is I've never read this out loud. It's about Bobby. It's called a Bobby poem. My husband tells stories of family, parents, and tíos and tías from Puerto Rico to El Barrio to the Bronx. Bodega stories too. Bobby's stories honor oral traditions, and he always speaks with love and reverence about life as the ancestors look down and nod. My husband tells stories, reminding whoever listens about the power of storytelling, where we give space to embellish or edit the truth sometimes.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you to all of our open micers. You know, tonight reminds me of something. When I first started studying poetry, my first poetry teacher told me that being a poet is very hard because um, people, that poets run to the emotions and the feelings that most people run away from. And it is true. It is definitely true. And everyone, it shows a lot of courage for everyone who has been here performing tonight, reading tonight, living the life of a poet or a writer. Thank you all for being here. This has been amazing. Thank you to Emperor Atiya, Ron Mark Thomson, Dara Kalima. You're all amazing. I want to give a special thank to the Creative Expressions team of curators, Heather Archibald, Aaliyah Abdullah Mata, Angela Brown, Marilyn Thomas King, who couldn't be here tonight, and Sonia Jaffe Robbins, who couldn't make it tonight. And Dara will be joining our team starting next month. So we're excited about that. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. It's been an amazing, powerful evening. Amber, if you need any help with anything, if you want to, just let me know. See if we can do something, because we definitely need your voice. All right. All right, everybody. Have a good night. It's been wonderful. Peace.
Thanks, John. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.